विदधाति पूर्वं यो वै वेदांश्च प्रहिणोति तस्मै तग्वंह देवमात्मबुद्धिप्रकाशम् मुमुक्षुर्वै शरणमहं प्रपद्ये। Let us chant for a few minutes. Bhajo giridhar govind gopala, 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 Bhajo gopala, Bhajo gopala, Bhajo gopala, Bhajo giridhar govind 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 gopala, Bhajo gopala, Bhajo gopala, Bhajo gopala, Bhajo gopala, 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 Bhajo gopala, Bhajo gopala, Bhajo gopala, Bhajo Nand Lala, Bhajo Nand Lala, Bhajo Nand Lala, Bhajo Nand Lala, Bhajo giridhar govind gopala, 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 Bhajo giridhar Bhajo Gopala Gopala,
Bhajo Gopala Gopala,
Bhajo Gopala,
Bhajo Gopala,
Bhajo Nand Lala,
Bhajo Nand Lala,
Bhajo Nand Lala,
Bhajo Nand Lala,
Bhajo Giridhar Govind Gopala,
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 Bhajo 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 Gopala Gopala,
Bhajo Gopala Gopala,
Bhajo Gopala,
Bhajo Gopala,
Bhajo Giridhar Govind 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 Gopala.
बोलिए वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की
जय।
श्रीमद् सद्गुरु सरकार की Just over 5,000 years ago, the entire world felt a divine breeze permeating. It was the dazzling appearance of Supreme Brahma, Purnatam Purushottam Shri Krishna. What is the secret of God's divine descension? While many of us accept the impersonal absolute God in personal form, or rather assuming a personal form, some of us question the necessity. God is almighty, they say. He is very capable of performing any and every action, even without descending. So why does God descend? Let us reflect for a moment on this interesting debate. Those who doubt God's descension in personal form should know that in fact there are innumerable reasons for God's descension, as stated in the Ramayana. Hari avatar he tujhe hi hoi, idamitham kahi jaat na soi. Ram janm ke hetu aneka, param vichitra ekte eka. So there are countless reasons for God's descension. Furthermore, for us to restrict ourselves to perhaps only one reason is absurd. The truth is that the actual reasons for God, or the reason for God's descension, can only be known by God Himself. However, different people at different times have voiced their opinion based on their area of self-interest. So they include reasons like God descended to establish righteousness, to kill the demons, to protect holy men, etc. But now we know that in fact God's descension happens for innumerable reasons. Even when we go anywhere as individuals, we do more things than one, don't we? So how can we confine God's descension or limit the reasons for God's descension to only a few? How can we count the reasons? One thing that is very important that we should bear in mind is that all of God's descensions are divine and eternal. There's no descension that is greater or lesser, superior or inferior. No, they're all divine and eternal. Shri Krishna tells Arjuna in the Gita, Janma karma cha me divya. O Arjun, all my descensions are divine. They are divine. So God cannot be broken into fractions or parts. No, because God is always complete and unchanged. Always, everywhere, and in all circumstances. My Gurudev Jagadguru Shree Kripaluji Maharaj has repeatedly declared that while the reasons for God's divine descension are innumerable, for the personal spiritual growth and development of souls like you and I, who are wandering aimlessly in the world We all are under the sway of Maya, under the bondage of Maya. So, even though God's descension, the reasons are innumerable, from the standpoint of our spiritual welfare, there is one reason that stands out. What is that? It's God's causeless divine mercy. To shower his causeless divine mercy upon us souls in the world, to lead us to eternal greatness, to elevate us. God descends to shower his causeless divine mercy upon us. The scriptures emphasize that God is divinely self-content and free from all attachment and aversion. He has nothing to gain and he lacks nothing. But the only reason that he does anything and everything, all of his actions are directed toward the spiritual well-being of souls, of all of us souls who are under the bondage of Maya. And this divinely causeless, merciful nature of God is well documented and universally accepted. And therefore, in every dissension, this causeless mercy is echoed, it's highlighted. So from our standpoint, it is his causeless mercy to shower it upon us souls. And through all the dissensions, God reveals, unleashes the eternal, infinite treasure of his divine names, his divine pastimes, his virtues, his attributes, and all. And through these, innumerable souls have crossed the bondage of Maya and attained divine bliss, divine bliss. So by revealing his divine form in this world before us, revealing his divine names, his divine virtues, his pastimes, his leelas, we can easily engage and absorb our mind in his loving thoughts and his loving remembrance, because we are inherently inclined toward loving a form and qualities. So this is why God descends for us. All of us are incessantly and consistently aspiring for ever-increasing, everlasting happiness. And that happiness personified is Supreme God, Sri Krishna. Jiva chaha Krishnananda Govinda Radhe Jo hai Anant Divya Nitya Bata De. Radha Govind Geet. All of us are aspiring. Every moment we are seeking that experience, that ever increasing infinite happiness is our birthright. Perfection is our birthright. And that is why God, who is personified love, descends to give us that love, to make us divinely, forever, eternally blissful. So when we hear the divine pastimes and the divine names and the leelas and the glories of God, we are inspired to turn our hearts toward God. We are inspired to surrender to Him, and with undivided faith and vigor, we make progress toward our ultimate goal as humans, which is devotion, bhakti, upasana, sadhana. So on this auspicious divine celebration of Shri Krishna Janmashtmi, I invite each and every one of you to accept the divine grace and the divine blessings of Shri Maharaji. With these words, I conclude my lecture. Radhe Radhe. Shrimad Sadguru Sarkar ki, Bhakti Yoga Rasavatar Jagadguru Tam Shree Kripalu Mahaprabhu ki, Shri Vrindaban Bihari Lal ki, Shri Raseshwari Radha Rani ki, Shri Radha Madhav Dham ki, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Jai Shri Radhe.
Thank you so much, Didi Ji. We appreciate the speech that you gave, and we thank you very much. Our next part of the program is the 8 p.m. cultural program.